We are live, I believe. Go ahead, Alicia.
There's an echo.
No way. No, there's not. Jesus Christ. Hold on. There's no way there's
Okay,
an echo.
no, it's just me. It's just me. Sorry, I had an echo um in my AirPods, but it's fine. I got you. Uh,
Okay.
it's fine. Hi everyone. So I see people in the chat. Hi Vad. Hi Kelmonty. It's nice to see you guys. Hi Hulib as well. Thank you for joining us tonight. As you can see, we have new guests this week. Of course, we have my amazing co host here, Fesk. We also have the amazing Adam Tastic with us tonight for the first time. And also for one of the first time as well, one of my best friends, for you, Alexi.
What up?
Hi guys. And hi everyone in the chat. It's really, really nice to see your faces for our second live stream. Um, the first one has been a real pleasure when we were chatting with Kyle and Orphan. So I feel like now we're kind of on the right track for these streams. And tonight, as per usual, if you're not familiar with Hilda Deal and what we do, we will be discussing everything from NFTs to mental health. These are called mental health check-in uh, because basically we try to just like resume everything that has been happening in our lives and what we've been struggling with or enjoying ourselves in, and try to discuss things about the emotional place of feelings in general into the NFT space. And that without further ado, I would like to just ask you that simple question that we always start with, which is basically how have you been feeling lately and how have things just been going on for you and how have you been um, traveling into this insanely weird journey in the NFT space. Adam, I would like to start with you because you're our new guest, and I absolutely love what you do. The motto behind your work. So I'm curious to know more, please.
Oh, thank you. Apologize. Thank you so much for having me, you guys. And I was telling you before we started, I'm a big fan of all of you guys. I think you guys are all just crushing it in the space. So it's very inspiring. Um, about me, like you were saying, my motto is making things to make people smile. That's when I was trying to figure out, how do I distill what do I do, it comes down to uh, moving with positivity and trying really, really hard, even when the world is kind of crushing against some of us, to still kind of keep my head up. And that's not to say that like it's easy or that it's always perfect, but I do try to put a lot of thought and heart into what I do. Um, and I juggle that with a family. I've got a kid, and so all of that just like mashes together to come out in my art. Um, and yeah, I think it's it's just like life is just too short to be annoyed all the time. Like there's just I know people are like people. I've been around people who feed on negativity, and it's real easy to get like sucked into it. And I've been there, but it's just I when I got into the NFT space, I got in the end of the last year, the beginning of this year, and I just saw, um, so the people that helped me were incredibly nice, and I was just blown away by that, and it aligned with how I was already approaching like everything. So, uh, to that end, I just thought this made sense, and I saw a space that I could try to do what I could to just like pour that into the space and raise up the community, and I saw an opportunity there, and it's just this thing I've been doing every week. Every Tuesday I do Rising Tide Tuesday. Made a little hashtag, just trying to like promote other artists, usually people who don't have, a large following. I'm not like a guy with the biggest following, but I wish I did, because I'd still be doing what I'm doing now, which is just like pushing people out there. So yeah, that's sort of me in a nutshell, as far as how I approach my art and just general life. Yeah, I could keep talking about a lot of other stuff. I just don't want to like
Yeah,
go
absolutely.
on
Dude,
and
this
on,
is a
but
super chill chat. Don't worry at all.
yeah.
How have you been feeling like these past few weeks? Because I personally, I feel that this space has been picking up a little bit of steam like these past few weeks. And that comes with a lot of anxiety, especially for me. Like, because I feel that
Yeah.
when the space kind of calmed down a little, I was like, oof, finally. Now I can breathe a little bit. But now that the space seems to be picking up again, I'm like, oh my God, here we go again, which is awesome. Like, I'm not complaining at all. I'm super excited. But then that comes a little bit of with anxiety.
I was listening to the previous podcast. I heard you talking about that, like the ebb and flow of, the bull market, bear market, and tied to anxiety. I'm actually, when things were insane early on, it was fun and it was crazy and it was definitely anxiety inducing. But pretty early on, one of the things that I did this year was I decided to just not give a shit about social media. Like, I was in it, I was gonna do it, I was gonna give my all, but I also didn't care about like how many followers do I have, what's my, that was a very unhealthy relationship that I had for years, and I was getting nowhere. I wasn't like the best at social media, but it also just felt like I was like talking to myself. But then I just kind of, beginning of this year, I was like, F it, like I'm gonna, if I get like 10 likes on a post, that's 10 humans that liked what I did, and that's all that mattered. And I've just kind of, and of course, once I stopped giving a shit about all of it, like people started to follow me. So, but I also, when crypto, when it was like, the crypto art was going crazy, it was intriguing, but then we all knew it was going to kind of crash to some degree. And when it went from like, ETH was 4,000 down, it went down to like, 2 or 1,800. I was like, good. I know this doesn't feel good for a lot of people, but like that was not right. Like, there's a correction. And I was like, right now where we are is where I felt like we should have stayed.
Yeah.
So I'm actually kind of okay with this. Like, this is nice. It does feel like there's new people coming in. And personally, my anxiety isn't very high because I've gotten to a point where I've seen so many of my friends just absolutely crushing it, left and right, putting out a piece, once a week or twice a week or even more. Um, I put out a piece a month, a piece every 2 months, like when I can, and I've had to live with that, knowing that I could maybe do more, but it's just not. I don't have the time, and that's okay. I've made peace with it, and I just accept, and I enjoy the space, just as it goes. So
Amazing.
that's sort of my take on it.
No, it's really great to hear everything from a new perspective every time we meet another guest or just connect with someone else. I feel like every time those things resonate more and more, depending on the person who says it and who expresses it. So I feel like it's really, really interesting to hear it from you, and as part of your experience as well. I know you've mentioned the fact that this was like a correction and that this was the point where we should have been in the first place, or maybe that we're meant to be right now. I wanted to take that opportunity to talk about that, and ask actually Alexi, so I4 with us tonight, because so obviously Alexi and I are really, really close friends. We talk about that a lot, but I feel like this is not something we are used to talk about in front of others, or just like express it in general. But you, Alexi, had been in a position where you, for example, had a lot of attraction to your work when everything was quite at a high point in the market, for example. So you had the, I guess, opportunity, we could say that, to experience that really, really high and hectic movement and just emotions and just everything that comes with that. Um, and I wanted for you to tell us, how does it feel for you now, come like being there at the point we are at the moment, in the market, in the space, with everything that has happened for you and with everything that is happening right now. How do you feel, and how do you manage to just like keep on going with all of these really, really sparse emotions, basically, because that's quite intense lows and high, I guess.
Yeah, that's quite the good question, I must say. Well, like in February and March was kind of the wild, like the local peak or something like that, top signal we could say, for the previous bull run for NFTs. And when I did my drop back in February, it was the night when the People piece started to be on auction. So there was like that moment and the moment where it sold, like these moments were like the very highest points of the last bull run. And I happened to release on Nifty Gateway at the same time, and I feel like it was like probably one of the best timings I could have in regards to just like attention and all that. But yeah, so on that date was like the wildest thing ever. Like I don't remember much of what happened that night. I know I was like looking at the TV and I couldn't even like understand what was happening. It was like a hockey game and I couldn't care less. I was just like looking at the fog, just trying to process what happened. It was very wild and I must say that like it was amazing. Of course, like life-changing stuff, but there's definitely like been some sort of like counterbalance to that. So like a very high and maybe a lower point where I was, because of the correction, I was kind of saddened to see like the whole market just as a whole just crash, you know. I did some open editions. By the way, those are my last ever disclaimer, but I did an open edition and it went wild because it was such a special timing, but that that demand was not sustainable. That amount of mints was not sustainable midterm or short term. We'll see in the long term. But yeah, so when the market crashed, it was kind of hard, like for myself to watch the pieces go for like a third of what they were worth before, and seeing that a lot of my friends purchased a piece and lost money. I mean, some of my friends they bought because they just love the art and they don't really care. But some others were like, some others were like, well, yeah, I lost some money and all that. But I told them, like, don't spend more than what you're ready to lose. But that's not really the point. The point is that when that happened, it was kind of tough to witness. And in the past few months, like, there's been a lot of stuff going on in my life, both like artistically and just in my personal life. As an example, just last week, my roommate of 4 years just left the apartment to go live with his girlfriend, and so that is something that occupies your mind on a day-to-day basis, and it's hard to get in the zone when you're thinking about those things, you know. And also another thing, my mother and my stepdad, well, my ex-stepdad broke up in the past few weeks, and they've been together for 15 years, so like all of these things that are happening at the same time, it's kind of like tough for like me as an artist to be focused and like ready to grind, because I was grinding like crazy before that drop, but afterwards I kind of felt like I was scattered all around. Was it, and having so many projects, not being able to like finish them, and some projects that got delayed. It's just like a constant cycle of like me looking back at the months that I've been going by and being like unsatisfied of what I did, like I look back at my output of work and I'm like, shit, like that's not as good as I could have been, and then like not proud of myself for some reason. But like, I mean, there were some things that made me like not able to do as much as I could, and it's hard to accept that. And I feel like this is something I need to learn to accept more. Summer is coming as well. Like I have to spend some time with people and not be too focused on like create like how could I say that in English, but catching up on the time that I've lost in a sense. I don't know if anything of that makes sense, but yeah, it's kind of like a constant reflection on productivity and um, maybe like trying to fix some bad habits. Like I'm going to bed way too late and I wake up in the morning and I'm always tired and my productivity is not as good as it could be. So yeah, right now I'm in a state where I'm kind of saying no to everything to just like try to be like the least stressed as I could be. And I feel like I have the privilege to do that because of what happened in the bull market. At least there's that positive side, of course. And I want to spend more time on myself, being with the people I like, and working on like a personal project that I'll be releasing eventually. But yeah, that's how it's been. A lot of stuff. Like, seems like I've been shooting so many things, but yeah, there's a lot of things that have happened in the past few months.
Yeah, I gotta say that this constant looking back on your productivity and comparing yourself, like I do that all the time. So like during the NFT bull run, I was grinding like crazy, just like you said, and then like after it crashed a little bit, I was like, oof, now I can relax. But like I want to relax, but then I'm always comparing to the moment that I was like full grind. So I feel
Yeah.
guilty for relaxing. So I think that that's a really bad habit to be constantly comparing yourself to your prime moment, because we can never be at our prime always, you know. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's hard to accept that we need to flow yeah, and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's difficult. And I just wanted to say that I'm really, really proud of you. You know that. Um, always proud of you and what you do and how far you've come. And things they're hard, you know. I know you've been through a lot, and we all did throughout the past year. And it's about to be like that for a bit, I'm afraid. Um, but the
Yeah.
great thing is that we are here, and there's just so many that we can do to just go on and find comfort in life and in things that we didn't expected to feel comfortable with, whether it's just being comfortable with yourself or just with your work more and more, gaining confidence as well. Someone mentioned today that they found a lot of confidence through NFTs and their work as well. So it's not always about imposter syndrome and all of those things that are overwhelming. You can also be overwhelmed by positivity. And yeah, you
Hmm.
gotta remember those moments, because the that's the kind of feeling that just keeps evaporating so easily in general, because that's human nature, I guess. um and yeah, I just wanted to jump to you, Fesk. How have you been? Because we've been talking, but I need to hear from my co-host.
Hmm.
I know that last time you mentioned that you had this project that came out, and then you were working on your super rare
I
collection and just
finished it. I
everything.
finally finished it. I actually just showed. I
Congrats,
showed Adam. Yeah, yeah, already. I think I gotta show
It's
you.
lucky Adam.
Yeah, the final collection.
it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
If
thank
they're
you,
A
dude.
beautiful
if,
collection.
Thank
if they're
you.
listening, they're nuts. If you're
Yeah, but that like last week was kind of crazy because I was trying to juggle a lot of things at once, like this big project that the thing with big projects, I feel that the bigger the project, the more it drags, like because there's a bigger team around it. So like it's fucking terrible, dude. I'm like I'm super hyper productive. So when it's time to work on a project, like let me fucking work on the project, you know? Like I try to plan everything ahead and try to execute like everything as fast as I can. That's how I work. But with big teams and stuff, things always drag, and that drives me nuts. So I was trying to balance this big commercial project with like the super rare pieces that I was trying to wrap up. it was a lot. And I mean, this week is a little bit chill because I kind of made peace with the fact that big projects will drag. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Keep dragging. I'm gonna play some Terraria or stuff like that while it drags because I need to chill a little bit. But yeah, I've been better. I feel that this week is more chill. So I wrapped up the Super Rare collection. Now I'm going to redesign my website. So that's my next
Nice.
personal project, and I'm probably going to do that on stream because I want to record the entire process and show everyone how I kind of lay out and plan
Yes.
everything. So yeah, so I've been excited for that because I mean I'm finally having a little bit of more free time because I was grinding the collection, finishing the collection. But yeah,
Mm. And you seem like you also had a lot of, I don't know, insecurities, I guess, about the collection itself.
100%.
We spoke about that in private, you know. And I saw those insecurities, but I just keep telling you that it's really, really good. And I feel like it's, you know, whenever we do something really different and when we put a lot of work into a body of just like artworks in general, it is quite overwhelming. You know that feeling if you've been doing kind of curated collection for your work, just for like, for example, for nifty drops or just like collections of several pieces as well. It's a pretty hard thing to manage because you want to be consistent, um, but then you don't want to do the same thing all over and
Yeah.
over again. And then there's a imposter syndrome at your door saying like, this is not good enough. Like you're not going to do that. It's not okay. So I'm just glad that I can sense your excitement and just like you being more just open. And I feel like because you indeed have a lot of work, like client work wise, this is draining for a lot of people that are still doing client work on the side and just work in general for other projects. I feel like it's really draining to be on all of the sides at the same time because of the FOMO, of course. I mean, for me, it's mostly FOMO. I see it like that. You know, it's the thing where you want to go to that party, but then your friends also has another party, so you want to attend it, and then everything's like kind of comes together, and you're just overwhelmed because you said yes to just so many things, and you are not capable of just like handling all of it at once. So yeah, I guess choosing your battles and having those chill moments is interesting. Alexi was also talking about productivity a lot. Um, yeah, I feel like we all tend to just have just quite high expectations of what productivity is. Um, Hence why I guess throughout the day, I just try to remind myself of what I did, and all of the small things I achieved, like, you know, those things that you don't think are work related, but they are, just like, you know, talking with people, handling a community, getting on the phone on phone calls for just like projects and just like collaborations, etc. All of this is work, but somehow we just assimilate work and the idea of work to just being close to really seeing things online.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's a bit deceptive. Like,
Mhm.
we should give ourselves more credit for everything we do every single day, because we wake up in the morning and it's like boom, bam, bam. It's there. You cannot escape it. Like, we always have work just in front of our heads. So yeah, just I'm just happy to hear that everyone's doing great, or at least holding on. It's a good thing. And as far as I can tell for myself, uh, I'm fine as well. It's fine. I'm doing great. Just
I was gonna
really,
ask how you're doing, you know.
Yeah.
really just avoiding work. To be honest, like just like personal work, avoiding it so bad. Like shoving it in the bin right there and just like looking at it from afar and just being like, gotcha, later.
Later.
Because it's difficult.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel great mentally. I feel really great. Partly because, of course, medication. Partly because I've been working on myself really, really hard for the past year. So it's great, but I feel like it's also great because I'm avoiding some things. And sometimes it's fine, just avoiding things in general is okay. But I guess I don't know. I'm just really stressed about Hilda Deal in general. Talking about, of course, the NFT side of the project and just everything that comes with that, because I tend to think that this is my best work to date, for a lot of reasons, just like not only for the visual aspect of it all and the artistic aspect of it all, but just because of the intentions I put into this project. But also, it's really really stressful for me to just uh, always
Do you,
keep the bar high. I guess.
Mhm.
do you guys feel like you put um just do you feel like you load yourself up with too many projects, or too much pressure? I mean, even just like internal stuff. I'm doing that
Yeah.
constantly. Um,
Yes,
Mhm.
I actually
yeah.
tweeted about this
100%.
today. Like,
Yeah, you did. I
yeah,
think I saw that.
yeah, it's crazy because it's not always client work. I mean, I always want to say yes to like dope client work and stuff when like the opportunity knocks on my door. But then like it's like the little personal stuff, like the website head redesign that I want to do. Like I don't need to do it, but I want to do it. So even though like
Yeah.
Mm,
maybe I could not do that and take some time to play some games and to relax a little bit, I kind of want to do that, you know? So I keep stacking and stacking more and more and more little projects that the sum of it, it's like really damn stressful because it piles up with client work and then you have to prioritize, okay, let me do this right now and do the other personal stuff later. And then
mhm.
if you keep pushing the personal project way too much, you're like, oh my god, I'm not doing any personal work. And you have to go back to the
Yep.
personal work. And that, but you cannot like be late with deadlines with client work. So it's really hard to balance, but then it's hard to balance because I made it that way, you know? That's the fucked up part because I started piling up personal
Mm,
stuff that I didn't need to. But yeah, that's how it is, at least for me.
I also don't know how else to do it. Like I feel like if I wasn't also piling some stuff on, like I wouldn't. I need some of that. Like, and it's stress, but I need some of that to give myself goals. Or because otherwise, like I can't sit around and just do nothing. Like that, the FOMO is there. That's when the
mm,
FOMO comes in. Like I also feel guilty anytime I'm like resting,
Mm-hmm.
um,
yes.
because I feel like that is uh, I so like with a kid and full time, it's just there's very little room to do like what I want to do. Usually it's from like 9 o'clock at night till 2 in the morning. Um, and that's also what takes things makes things longer, um, and still piling things on. Um, but as far as like uh, mental stuff related to that this week, this is a fun one. Um, I am no longer full-time employee.
Ooh.
That was not by choice. It was the company was doing a couple of layoffs, and is what it is. But it's been 14 awesome years,
Oh.
and now it's a and the thing is like I'm bummed because I've got friends there, been there for a long time,
Mm,
and I'm bummed because steady paychecks are awesome, um, but uh, there's a there's a part of me that's just like ready for the next thing, and frankly, the NFT space we were talking about earlier with confidence. I mean, the NFT space gave me that little extra confidence I needed to just like I know what I can do. I know what I'm good at, but like just being in this space has given me even more of a boost to the point where this news is not great, but it wasn't like what it would have been 1, 2, or 3 years ago. It's like, okay, all right, I'll figure it out, you know. But it's been a week. It's been a week, even less.
Yeah, can understand.
Yeah.
Well, I must say that it's interesting in a way because I believe we had this kind of conversation with as well with our friend Justin Muller as well, um, who just recently got out of his main job and got also into that kind of new path, um, after years and years and years of working for the same company and just like some same realm as well. And it's really just um I don't know how you guys do it, because you guys seem like, you and Justin, like when I hear you talk, you seem so just not prepared for that, but there's a sense of calmness and just positivity emanating from that. And I'm just really admirative of that, because I feel like if I was in your shoes, I would be completely freaking out.
Same.
Like,
I'm not pretending, but I'm also not freaking. You're right. I'm not freaking out. Part of that is, uh, thankfully, my wife has a job, and
yes.
she, knock on whatever, right? um, but also, you know, like I said, it's just a couple of years ago, I would have been more concerned. I'm
Mm,
not concerned. I'm definitely like I'm actively immediately actively looking for, a job, but at the same time I'm like, um you know, it's going to be a balance now, instead of family full time and trying to
mm,
do some NFTs. It's going to be a balance of finding a job which is full time work, but it's also like there's no client breathing down my neck, and there's going to be a little bit more time for NFTs, and that's also a part of the puzzle, right? Like that's,
mm-hmm,
if I was NFTs, I see them as it's just time. It just buys me time to do what I want to do, and I'm not there yet, um, but I think that I I'm optimistic about where it could go, and and that would be the thing that I'm trying to do is like, I mean, I've got, not on the huge level of February, but I've had a little taste of it, and I'm like, this, out of all the things that I've wanted to do or pursue, this is it, um and that's kind of a big deal. So I think if I had, been laid off and not had NFTs in my life, this whole movement, I think I would be in a different space mentally.
mm-hmm,
And again, this whole year has really set me up for a moment like this to not be as devastating. I I'm approaching everything, in this positive way, and it's, again, it's not that it's not stressful, and it's not that it doesn't suck, but it's just that it's I genuinely believe it's going to be okay, and I'm going to figure it out. And if there's, I uh, I've got some opportunities in the NFT world that have been great. Over the last 14 years, I've made a lot of connections, so I've got different opportunities there, thankfully. But the NFT thing, for years, people would say, like, if you could quit your job, and what would you do? And I would say, I had some ideas, but nothing concrete.
mm-hmm,
Hmm.
So like this is what I would do if, and thankfully, even though, I've only put out a couple of pieces, I've had good receptions to it. I've spent the majority of the time in this space enjoying the hell out of the community, trying to build a community around myself, enjoying the people that like want to see what I do, and I don't need, a billion followers. I just need some people who like what I do enough that we can just keep this going. So I don't know. I guess that's unpacking where this is coming from. Like, this is stream of
Hmm.
consciousness right here, guys.
Yeah, I do
totally.
agree. Like the NFT space not only gives you, in my opinion, not only gives you like the not the safety net, but like just the possibility for you to maybe have another income outside like your main project. That's just amazing. But I feel that the community and the connections that we are making during these past few months. I don't know. I think I tweeted about this once, like a few months back. Like the community makes me feel safer on those times that okay, I lose a big project, okay, I'm on a downtime when it comes to client projects and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel that the community holds me up on more the emotional side, and the NFT like selling on the more financial side, and I think that that's like positive as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally.
It's the best art community or community in general that I've ever been a part of. Um, Seriously, just like um, just consistently blown away by how, on the whole, because it is what it is, but on the whole, everybody's just incredibly nice and helpful. Um,
Mm.
and it's I joined Twitter in 2021, and I'm like, who does that? And when I got on, um, I was like, this isn't the Twitter that I've been told about, like
Exactly.
this Twitter
Yes.
is
Yeah.
amazing. Like it's like I'm a little embarrassed to say it, but like before NFTs, I was actively trying to get my screen time down, and then I get like these alerts, and it's like you're up like 6 hours this week, and I'm like, I'm fine with that because I know what I'm doing is a
Yeah.
lot like positive and fun. So it's just been awesome.
Yeah, I guess it's just about being on tune with your needs and just managing, just like being really aware of your emotions and how you just feel about everything. Because, of course, being a part of a community that is so closely intertwined with social media, um, can have a huge impact on you, because you on one side you just feel like less alone, and you have all of these amazing connections and just feel so much more, um perhaps as an individual yourself, because sometimes we just tend to forget about ourselves. We just feel like that empty vessel flying through life and just like going forward. But it's just a great reminder. But also you have, on the other hand, that those kinds of feeling that could also emanate from just being always social all the time. So you sometimes you will experience comparison, jealousy, just weird emotions that are just made out of all of these connections and just activity in general. So it's just, I feel like it's really important to just be really in tune, and synced with what you feel and how those certain things makes you feel as well. Because if you do not feel comfortable, um seeing some tweets or something like that, it's totally fine. You can just like take some time for yourself, but it's actually a good thing to acknowledge it in the first time and be honest with yourself. And on that note, I had a topic in mind that I wanted to touch base on, and I wanted to do perhaps a round table about that and ask you guys, what do you feel about that? But Vesk, I saw you tweeting. I believe it was you. Correct me if I'm wrong, because sometimes I just lose my memory. Like, girl is having trouble sometimes. But I believe you tweeted about something along those lines, where you mentioned that perhaps sometimes there's just too much positivity,
Oh,
to the point where it just ends up being some sort of toxic positivity.
is it Ronald on?
No, I don't think it was. I think
Noah?
it was Fest, but
Really? I don't think
okay,
so.
It's
sorry.
it's a tweet from Ronald on. I don't know if it's how it's pronounced.
Don't know why I thought it was Fest, because you see, again, this is what you get when you scroll down into a social media and you just can't keep up with all of the information. This is what you get. This
Hmm.
is
Yeah.
ridiculous. But actually, I thought about that. So, quote tweet of, how do you pronounce his name? Ronald?
Ronald.
Ronald, let's call
Yeah.
on.
Okay.
He's
Quote
from
tweet of
Singapore,
Ronald.
I think.
Yeah.
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 Okay. So I didn't react to that tweet, but I feel like that's actually an argument and an info I saw quite a few times on Twitter.
Hmm.
And I never really just talked about it, or just tried thinking about it, but I've been thinking just about it more and more lately, and not in a bad or a good way, but just questioning myself about that. Because do you feel like sometimes that kind of positivity that you get, because we know our community is really, really positive, we're really trying to support everyone as much as we can, but I'm just wondering, where's the boundary between positivity and toxic positivity? Where's the, the limit, the border? When can we say that something is toxic positivity? I don't know. Is it because of the intentions of the people that are trying to be positive, and just maybe attract other people to themselves by being positive? I don't know. I think that's something I wanted to just start thinking out loud and talking with you guys. So I don't know. Maybe Alexi, you want to start on, maybe if you have a thought on that.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's kind of, for me, it's like I kind of, I don't know, I kind of know when a relationship I have with someone is genuine or not. I mean, none of you guys I would consider like the opposite. But I don't know, in general, maybe the first example that comes to mind, maybe, and like I think in to some extent I may have been guilty of that, but to me the maybe a good example of what could be toxic positivity is when you look at any post a collector does on Twitter, you know. You go on a collector post and there's so many people just like you don't know if it's like a genuine intention of being like sending love over to the person, or it's just like there's or maybe there's like a very I don't know how to say it in English, but there's like a hidden intent of like potentially getting a financial gain out of this positivity. And that's just something that you cannot really confirm or be like, oh yeah, that must be it. But I don't know, sometimes it can come across as not genuine. And to me, that's like one of the quick examples I have in mind. I feel like, I don't know, it's, of course, like it's a touchy matter because it's important to foster these good relationships with both the artists and the collectors in the space, because both of them have such an important role. Like all of the collectors I have, they are so cool, and I even played Rocket League with one of them. Like that's like the best example of like how cool of a friendship it can become. But I don't know how it is when it comes to shilling your work constantly, or in French we say lèche botte, like
Like lick
bootlicker.
my ass.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay like I didn't want to say that, but that kind of attitude to me is like an example of toxic positivity, because it may come across as not genuine, and when you're seeing too much of this on a daily basis, it just gets like overwhelming. That, and to me, like all the hype stuff, you know, all the let's fucking go to the moon. I don't know, like all the caps lock tweets, like all these things, to me, that it sticks, like it doesn't stick with me at all. Like when I see that, like it's like, oh, like do we need this? And like I don't know where I want to go with this, but
Yeah.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
but these examples are something that I find to be toxic. When I see some people just like being so hyped about stuff, and it is like the worst expression I can think of is circle jerk, but it's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff, like it brings me down. Like I get some FOMO, I want to be a part of it, but at the same time, when I look deeper into it, I'm like, no, that's not me. And you know, like like an example would be the collectibles projects. I've been looking at them for so long, and like for some moments I was like looking at CryptoPunks and Bored Apes and all that, and all the positivity and the hype that was around that. Like I get it, like it's a crazy community, but I was not really into the visuals or what it meant, and so seeing all of that and seeing that there was a financial gain that I could have gotten if I went into the project, it kind of like was difficult for just the mental part of it, you know?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
you're like, oh shit, I missed out on those, but at the same time, I don't like those. But then all of the people that I see on my Twitter feed, they're all hyping up this thing, and I'm not a part of it, and I want to be a part of
Right.
it, but I don't like it. So what do I do? And then I just start adding some mute words in the Twitter settings, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
it's just too much. So that kind of example to me is like what toxic positivity can be like. Um, and it's like a double-edged sword. Like I genuinely feel that a lot of people are into these projects because they like the projects and they like to be a part of the community. But the other side of myself, like the yin and the yang, can't help but think that, well, what if like all these people just wanted to hype the projects so they could just
Mm.
dump it later on, you know? And that's what if we've seen with some of these projects. A lot of people hyping them up and then it just crashes and a lot of people lose money because everyone's like, yeah, it's so great, and all this positivity is not actually true. It's just there to
Mhm.
like pump the wallets, you know? Um, I might have been off topic on this one, but that,
No,
that's
no,
like
No,
no.
not at all.
that,
There's a
that's
lot
like
to unpack.
yeah, that's an example to me that is kind of blatant, but at the same time, it's so hard to get like the attentions of people online. And so that I don't want to like that's why I don't comment on it. I don't point out people. I just it's just a general observation, and like
Mhm.
I would like to be proven wrong on any of these instances, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting that you went with the fake positivity route when it comes to artists commenting and interacting with collectors, because that wasn't like my first thought when she said like fake positivity. But I
Oh.
totally agree. I totally agree with that people may be forcing a positive interaction with someone for possibly forging a connection and stuff like that. And that's even something that it's on the back of my mind, because like I have some amazing collectors and some collectors are kind of big. So sometimes and I've interacted with them like personally with video chats and maybe like on the DMs. But sometimes I'm kind of okay. Maybe I'm interacting too much. People might think that I'm forcing a relationship with the person for interest. I don't
Mm.
know if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of conflicted. Okay, but this person is so nice. I've interacted with them before, but because of the social pressure, I'm like, okay, maybe I should stop like commenting on every single tweet because it's genuine. Like I know the collector, we've talked before.
Yes.
He has one of my pieces, but then people might think that I'm trying to force something when I'm not, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of
It's
happened to me
interesting.
once. I have an example, but I'm not dropping any names. But
Mm-hmm.
there was a collector who purchased one of my pieces. Often when I do these one-of-one sales, I get to chat for like half an hour to an hour with the collector, and I got a lot of insights from that person. Really great guy, and I don't know, I just for some reason, because I was interacting with that person in DM, probably that their content was on my Twitter feed more than other people, so I would just be commenting. But then
Mhm.
I had someone I know like sending me the comment that I posted and being like, "Oh, like look at like if I was like some sort of ass licker," like
Mm-hmm.
Alicia said. But it was not really. It was like I was genuinely like, yeah, that thing that you're doing is cool. I put a comment. You know, I was really active on Twitter on that time, and I don't know. So when that happened to me, I kind of started be on like be more I don't know, careful, like you said, Fesk, like not to comment or interact too much with these people. But again, like we have to
Mm-hmm.
treat ourselves like on the same base, because otherwise it becomes awkward if we get those thoughts whenever we interact with
Yeah.
people. So yeah,
Yeah.
that
So
was
yeah,
an example related to what you were
Mm-hmm.
saying.
Yeah. Just like to a second point that I think that I touched on our last stream is that the fake positivity when it comes to like crypto, and crypto always going up. Oh my God, to the moon, and like I think that's really really dangerous because you are dealing with a lot of people, artists that maybe have never like owned any crypto before. They are jumping into this like for the first time, and they maybe do not have like some crypto artists are really young. They are like 15, 17, right? And maybe they don't have the financial like instruction or like advice to properly handle the money, and everyone's like to the moon, to the moon. And I've known people that haven't taken any profits. I talked about this on the last like stream because I think that's really important. And I think that
Mm.
this whole positivity around crypto, which is really awesome, like I really believe on the tech, it will probably like will be worth a lot of money in the future. But like on the short term, you need to be conscious about what you're doing with your money. And like this whole to the moon is like making a lot of people make bad decisions. So I think that's a good example of like fake positivity. I mean, it's positive in
Yeah.
general. I don't know if it's fake on purpose. I don't think it's fake on purpose. Everyone is so
But
excited about the tech, but then it's damaging to some people.
but it's not fake. It's not the idea necessarily of being fake in this case. It's toxic, you know. Like it can be damaging for some people to see that kind of content over and
Yes.
over and being like, well, I'll just hold on it, you know. Um,
Just,
I
yeah.
I think like that's a good example, but it's more toxic than fake because I think these people are probably like genuinely
Yeah.
thinking it's gonna go up. Um, but when you're inexperienced, you're like, oh, okay, well, I'll just hold, and then it crashes 50%, and you're like, whoops, all
Hmm.
right.
Exactly.
I think it's important
Different.
to. Oh, sorry, Adam. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I think you guys made really good and valuable points. With everything you shared, I feel like that's some really, really interestful. What the fuck? Interesting insight, actually, because that wasn't my point at all. Like when
Mm-hmm.
I thought about it, like not at all, but I thought about that kind of toxic positivity in a different way. Um, and I actually wanted to mention the fact that I feel like the word toxic might not be the right word for that. I would rather say maybe harmful in a way,
Yeah, that's a good one.
because toxic for me is just way too general, and I feel like that is a word we use for just a lot of things to describe, drama, etc. And I feel like that wasn't the point of this tweet that I saw. And when I saw it, I really just thought about it as a way to perhaps put a warning out there for people to perhaps show more vulnerability, actually, because I feel like we filter a lot of the things we think about. We display just what we want on social media, which is a normal behavior with social media at the moment, and always has, always will, I guess. um and I feel like this is what we're lacking, perhaps, because if positivity was balanced with vulnerability as well, and doubts, and lower emotions as well, because that's part of the process, then maybe it would feel more genuine. Because I myself will tend to trust more someone if I can see those cracks, because otherwise, if you're showing me just that everything's beautiful and everything's fine and it's going to be okay, just trust the market and trust the coin and trust everything. I do not trust anyone. I don't trust myself. Why would I why would I just trust all of those things based on just positivity? As far as I want to be an optimist, there's no optimism without pessimism. It's just the balance of life.
Mm.
So if we do not show all of this and just do not balance our behavior and show it as it is to others, then I think this is why it might be harmful for others, because we condition others to just think that way, think that it's going to be okay, and you don't have to question the market, and you don't have to question NFTs and Ethereum and all of this, because everyone's saying that it's going to be okay. But it's fine if it's not. We don't know. It might fail, and we might fail as well. So I don't know. I'm just I just think that it's important to consider the fact that we're educating each other, and educating others also comes with the responsibility of building that kind of vulnerability space and just connection where one and the other can just come together and talk about things as they are and just show their doubts upfront because that's the problem with the community. It's not even a problem, it's just a pattern, and I feel like we have to work really really hard to try and break that pattern. I know a lot of people are trying to do that. A lot of our friends, respective friends, and mutuals, and just artists and collectors in general are really trying to break that harmful habit of just hyping things, because it's not how it works, at least for artists. And I understand that the NFT community is all about the hype as well, because it's cryptocurrencies, and there's a lot of speculation, so it comes with the price of hype in general. So that's why people try to be really positive and attract a lot of energy into that. um and I think that's why maybe the crypto art and cryptocurrencies and crypto markets can benefit from artists as well, because we as artists can introduce some more of that humanity, I guess, into really pragmatic and just speculative realm such as crypto, etc. I feel like there's an interesting balance to seek there, between the vulnerability of artists and the really important and just like really impactful energy of crypto. And it's an interesting blend to just witness on the daily basis. But I think it's important to remind everyone that we need to just show things as they are. And I know it's not perhaps going to happen, but as far as I will be there and just try my best, I will try to encourage people to do so, because I do not want people to just feel pressured or bad. I just always think about people and feel for people, because I know how it feels to see all of that when you wake up in the morning and when you go to bed. Just always trying to be happy and show the best of yourself, and be grateful, etc. And that's a lot. It's fine if you don't want to. You don't have to. Anyways,
Yeah.
Adam, you wanted to say something. I'm here for you.
Oh no, that's okay. Yeah. Uh, to piggyback on that, I didn't get too specific, but fairly recently, there's been other things that have been not great that's been happening in my personal life, and I had put a few tweets out that were somewhat vague because of the sensitive nature to what it was, but just like because I was feeling like if I don't have a little bit of that, um, it's just because it's not always sunshine and rainbows, right? Like it's life, and so this is the first time I've mentioned anything about my job, which I had been planning on trying to figure out how to tweet about it, and I was going to once like Friday is like my last day, and I was going to put something out there about it, and I've started to put a couple of tweets here and there. I could definitely do more of that, in these sort of like more showing the other sides of everything, that there is more out there that is not always amazing, because I do think that is important, and like when I was having a pretty rough week, like a week and a half ago, I felt like I needed to put something out even though I had to keep it vague, because otherwise it's like it's disingenuous. Like this is a part of my life too. So I definitely feel that. And just back to real quick what Alexi was saying about um, some, with the positivity, and because I've just enjoyed the hell out of the community, and um, I found myself in a position a couple of months ago where somebody called me out in a weird way that I wasn't expecting. Um, because I was supporting somebody who there was drama around that person. and I didn't think that the drama around the person was as warranted, if at all, as others were making it out to be. And I stood in their corner, and the comment came from someone that um, we're not like friends, but I respect another artist, and they came to me and they were like, "You just like everybody, don't you?" And I was like, "Well, I've I've actually liked this person for months." Um, it just took me back because I was like, "Wait, is that how this is coming across? Like I'm just like liking everybody?" Like, well, I guess
Mm,
maybe, but I do. Like I'm not. So that kind of gave me some pause to think about the perception of the positivity that I've been putting out. And I think more about those other angles, that I hadn't really, thought about before, because I was just, and I'm going to support someone if I like what they do, or I think that they should get out there. I'm going to keep doing it. It didn't stop that, but it did give me that perspective I didn't have before, where someone was looking at it and just like, oh, this guy just likes everything. Oh, this guy's got something nice to say about everybody. And I was like, I did, because I did, but
mhm.
I didn't realize that that was, that could be, taken differently. So, you know, it's not until you go through these little, these moments until you see another perspective. So I thought that was an interesting parallel to what you were saying there.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And it's interesting how just to hear others' perspective on something you do or something you say is always a bit frightening and also interesting, but also just really gives you anxiety. It's a lot to be just displayed in front of everyone, displaying what you say, what you do, who you are in front of people, especially because I feel like a lot of our intentions are good. We're doing things because we love it. We're supporting people because we love what they do, and they support us back. And I feel like at the beginning it's all because of that, but also we have to remind ourselves that this is a community. It's growing, and it comes with a price, and the price sometimes is drama. um, there's also people who have bad intentions in communities. That's part of the deal as well. So that's why you want to be prepared for that, but you can never be fully prepared because sometimes it hits you and it's difficult to handle because you had faith in your community, in your people, and sometimes you see that, um, and it hurts you, and that's fair, I guess. This might also be the time where you want to step back and just like recenter on yourself, who you are, why you're doing this in the first place as well, because this is something we tend to just lose sight of, and that's normal because we get caught up in the whirlpool of it all, I guess. So I'm sorry that you have to experience that. Um, but it's fine. We got your back, and as I always say, this is why places like Heal the Deal exist as well, and this is why I wanted to create this space for people, because if you feel like there's something that is really bothering you, and or you feel attacked, or if you feel bad about something, I always want people to be able to reach out, and just vent it all out, because we're not here to judge people for what they do or who they interact with, or who they have beef with, or we're not about that. We do not want names. We just want you to feel better, whether your intentions are good or not, because I always think about what Callan Schaub said when he was on one of our talk. He's an amazing artist working a lot on mental health, and he has this motto in his work where he always have a positive thought and a good thought for haters and people who are maybe showcasing themselves as bad people, but in the end, those people, they suffer as well. They suffer just like we do. And sometimes when when someone just attacks you or something, it's just a really broken person inside. And you got to feel for them, even though it's difficult in the first place, because you are hurt. You have to process your pain and your anxiety first, and then perhaps shift perspective and see it from another point of view, and a point of view where this person you don't know about is also struggling, I guess. But it's really difficult. And if you're not able to do that, it's fine as well. I just feel like this is why a lot of us have empathy and are really empathic person, is that we have this ability to, if we want to be really able to put ourselves into others' shoes. And this is what we do on a daily basis. We try to give our best into our art, into our word, our speech, our collections, to our collectors. And I think, yes, I'm not saying that we're perfect, but I feel like we're pretty good. And we deserve some credit for that. Anyways, we're actually a bit off schedule right now because the talk is about 1 hour usually, but I feel like everything was super, super interesting. I just could talk like that for just like hours. I just love live streams. It's so amazing to be able to see everyone's faces, and I feel like it's way more the connection here is way more interesting than even the live chats on Twitter or etc. I feel like I can really sink into your words, and I feel like it's really valuable. Like, we don't know each other in person, but I feel like we're learning so much, and the energy I got from everyone is amazing. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank everyone once again for joining us. I don't know if anyone had a question in the chat, but if not, we will be ending this session soon. And also, I wanted to mention that if you are not familiar with our YouTube channel, we also have VOD on the YouTube channel where you can watch the full live stream. I usually upload those to the Hill the Deal Twitter as well, and to my Twitter, etc. So you can catch up with the things we said. And I saw that also some people made amazing clips of our first live stream.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, we have
I had
clips
no
right
idea.
now. Apparently we have clips. So clips are just like people. If you're not familiar with that, Adam, these are just people like cutting off bits of the live stream they really enjoyed, and you can see them on the Twitch channel as well. So it's just a highlight of the conversation.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So it's interesting because it's also a good. Yeah, so much knowledge. So yeah, I can see everyone in the chat is really awesome as per usual, sending a lot of love. Hulip says, first Hill the Deal live stream, and I must say it was really insightful. Very nice to know the artist a little more. Thank you for confirming that. I actually agree. So yeah, if we're done, then we're done, I guess.
For sure.
Okay.
I can't thank you guys enough. This was fantastic.
Thank you, Adam. It's so nice to meet you. I know I'm familiar with Alexi and Fesk already, but it was so nice to meet you. I resonate so much with your word, and I just said in the chat that you're a positive sensei for me. Like, you're my master of positivity right now, and I will look up to you in the future for sure. Love your work, everyone.
I told you, he's a gem. I told you.
I know. Amazing. Love it. So we will see everyone in around 2 weeks for the next live stream, and in between we will have a live chat, I believe, next Wednesday.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, just wishing everyone